Okay, we are officially recording. Welcome back to the Vendetta Sports Fantasy Show. This is episode 4. Today is Thursday, June 11th. We're recording this at night. The three amigos are back. Cat Ears and Comb Over City, Alex Chick, and Scott Logush. What's going on today, guys?
It's going good.
Not much. Pretty good day so far.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we have a pretty good show for you guys. We're going to lead off with some news here, and it's only one piece of news here, but Matt Ryan hyping up some of his new teammates today. He said Hayden Hurst is one of the best tight ends he's ever played with. Problem is, he's never played with Hayden Hurst. So let's kick it over to Scott here. What is your reaction to the Matt Ryan says Hayden Hurst is really good, but has never played with Hayden Hurst news?
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm happy you said one of the best.
Because he played with Tony Gonzalez?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you said the best, then that would be even worse. But you said one of the best, so that somewhat rectifies it. But still, like, you haven't played with him. You can't. I don't even know if he's thrown to him. I don't know if they've actually had a game of catch. So how the hell can you say this?
Oh man.
Go ahead, Alex.
I think that's absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't know how you could say that to any. I mean, if you haven't at least played in preseason with them against other people, that's like. And you know what? I'm a Raiders guy. We all know that. That's like Derek Carr saying, "You know what? Henry Ruggs, best wide receiver I've ever played with. You know what? He was fantastic in those outside. We're just fucking around workouts and everything. No, it does not. It's not the same. There's no defense. There's no. I mean, and the fact that I don't even think Hayden Hurst is all that good. And you're already saying he's one of the best tight ends you played with. I'm glad he's hyping up his teammates, but it's bullshit.
I think this is a total joke. I'll say the same thing that I said 2 years ago when Baltimore drafted him. I would have took him in the 6th or 7th round. I thought he was terrible. He's a former minor league baseball pitcher. He comes back to play at college football at age 26, and they're like, oh, this guy's all right. Yeah, he's 6 years older than everybody. He goes to Baltimore, immediately not only loses his job to Mark Andrews, he loses his job to Nick Boyle, who has been busted for steroids 3 times, is mainly a blocking tight end. Came into the year, Nick Boyle has 0 touchdown receptions coming into this year. Lost his job to that guy. Somehow Baltimore gets a 2nd-round pick just based on the fact that they picked him in the 1st round. I think this is a joke.
Did they pick him before Lamar Jackson?
They picked him before Lamar Jackson. I think this is a joke. I would not draft Hayden Hurst at all. I don't care if he's sitting on my board for $1. That guy sucks.
Yeah, no, he's garbage.
Tell us how you really feel.
I know.
And by the way, Matt Ryan, shut up, dude. Go win 6 wins again, you know? Go out there and go 7-9. Nobody cares about the Falcons, all right? Seriously. As long as Dan Quinn's the head coach, nobody gives a shit, Matt Ryan. So go shove your opinion up your ass, go win 6 games, and get the hell out of here. All right? I've had enough.
He's angry.
All right, next topic.
Tell us how you really feel.
Right.
Next topic. We have a Twitter question here. And Serenity, one of our own, jumped in. And I think this is a good question. Which NFL team should get more recognition than it actually does? And that is from Serenity, one of our soccer and NHL bloggers. And I think this is a good question because last year, San Francisco, who saw that coming? You have a couple guys on San Francisco's roster. They did well for you in fantasy. Baltimore, you picked Mark Ingram. You did really well for yourself. I think it's important to pick the right team. If you went all in on the Browns, you got fucked last year. So I think this is a good question. Which team should get more recognition for fantasy purposes? Go ahead, Alex.
For fantasy purposes, I got to go with Buffalo here. I like Josh Allen, and you know what? It caught me a little bit by surprise researching a little bit. Josh Allen was 6th in quarterbacks last year, and he had John Brown as his number 1, and he's a rookie wide receiver. He has Stephon Diggs now. It's John Brown. Josh Allen is improving every year that he plays. I like Devin Singletary. Kevin Knox is I think no, not Kevin Knox. That's basketball. I'm sorry.
Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox. I knew Knox was the name, but yeah, he's the tight end there, and he started coming into his own at the end of the season. I think all around, there's a lot of fantasy value on the Bills.
Scott?
So you took my pick of the Bills. So to switch it up. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Now, I'm saying this mainly because Carson Wentz. He had a very respectable year, despite with 6 weeks left in the season, he was throwing to everybody on his offense was a who the fuck is that guy? Everyone was a practice squad player. And so he made work of that. He performed very well under those circumstances. So I feel if his receiver core and offensive line and running backs, if they can stay healthy, Wentz can put up another great year. And last year was a great year. If you take everything into consideration, the numbers he put up and the fact that he willed his team into the playoffs.
I'm going to go with Arizona. Last year, people mocked me for picking San Francisco to win the division. I won quite a bit of money off of that. I don't feel nearly as confident about this one, but I want everybody on Arizona on my fantasy team. I want Kyler Murray. I want DeAndre Hopkins. I want Kenyon Drake. I want everybody. I think they're the one team. If they went 10-6 and shocked everybody, I wouldn't be surprised. You get year 2 with Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler Murray takes a step forward. DeAndre Hopkins is humongous for this offense. Last year, they really didn't have a ton of targets. Murray was running around for his life. The offensive line's better. David Johnson was brutal the first so many weeks of the year. They had nothing going as a one-dimensional offense. Kenyon Drake was fantastic the second he came in there. Late in the year, they beat Seattle, really competitive. They almost beat San Francisco late in the year. I think Arizona's scary. And not to mention this for fantasy purposes, I still think their defense stinks. So Murray's going to be in shootouts. I think they're going to be in a lot of games where it's 35-38, and that's great for fantasy.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle Murray's going to be one of the better fantasy quarterbacks this year. Just so everyone knows, if you want to write that down real quick, he's going to be a really good fantasy quarterback. Not just only because he has DeAndre Hopkins, but, that offense is going to get better this year.
I want to talk a little bit about Buffalo because I almost actually picked them, and Scott was going to pick them. So let's dive into Buffalo here. My main question here is, Josh Allen, is this a holy shit, Stephon Diggs goes for 1,500 yards a year? Or is this Stephon Diggs goes for 800 yards a year, and Devin Singletary is actually a lot better than people think? What's the direction of this team?
I think it's the latter, only because Josh Allen, even though he was 6th as a fantasy quarterback, a lot of that came from rushing touchdowns as well. So passing the ball, that's where he's still trying to improve at. But I think over and all, I think it helps the offense move the ball more. But I think Devin Singletary is going to be really good. And he's going to be a lot better this year. And Stephon Diggs his numbers are going to drop a little bit or a lot of it compared to 1,500 to 800. But, I think that offense altogether is really good. And, you can find fantasy value anywhere.
Scott, you have anything to add? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to pick the former, and that's mainly because Josh Allen said, I'm not going to be Captain Checkdown. So on the website, he said himself, he's not going to check the ball down. So he's going to have to go for Diggs. He's going to take some shots. Now, he might take some shots that you might say, what the hell is that? And you might make some plays where you're like, what the hell is that? So Josh Allen, bit of give and take. Definitely going to see a few interceptions because when you have a target like Stephon Diggs and when you have a true wide receiver 1, you want to get him the ball. You want to keep him happy. So I can see Diggs having a respectable stat line, definitely closer to 1,500 yards as opposed to 800 yards. And as for Josh Allen, you can see his touchdowns go up, but I can also see his interceptions potentially going up as well.
As Scott mentioned, we are brought to you by VendettaSportsMedia.com. Make sure to check out the website. Follow us on Twitter, media_Vendetta. Also, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That would help us out a lot. Follow Scott on Twitter, Logush52, Chicks Tape Pod, and I am Trey Daubert. So let's get into the main segment here that I wanted to talk about, and this is fantasy wildcards. Players that you would consider have a wide range of outcomes. They could be awesome. They could be terrible. And these are players that you have absolutely no idea what to do with. I'm going to start here. Excuse me. And my first pick is A.J. Brown. I don't have a clue what to do with that guy. Number 1 in yards after the catch this year, A.J. Brown. Number 1, broken tackles. This guy was unbelievable as a rookie. I don't think that's a stat that just goes away. The problem is, I hate this offense. It goes through Derrick Henry. They run the ball constantly. And I think this is a team that could win 6 games. You go to the AFC title game, and everybody's riding high on Tennessee, and Tannehill's throwing for 80-some yards and winning playoff games. I don't think they're good. I don't think they got better. They're still the same team. What happens if Derrick Henry gets hurt for 4 weeks? I love the talent of A.J. Brown. Let's say Tannehill falls off a cliff. Is that surprising to anybody? I don't think that would shock anybody. They could win 5 games next year, and that's not a team you want. They're going to be a decent defense, but I don't trust Tannehill to get the ball to A.J. Brown and be consistent like he was last year. So I have absolutely no idea what to do with A.J. Brown. Would you guys counter and tell me what the hell's going on there?
Scott, you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
You can go first.
All right. I like A.J. Brown a lot. I think with Derrick Henry, and it's a lot of running offense, I think that actually helps A.J. Brown because, you know what, right now, A.J. Brown's not the focal point of that offense. I think Derrick Henry is, and I think they might put 7, 8, 9 in the box just to stop Derrick Henry, and that's just only going to open up the field for A.J. Brown. Even though Ryan Tannehill does not throw that much, I mean, as long as all the receptions go to A.J. Brown and he gets his yards, he gets his touchdowns, I don't really have a problem with that. I wouldn't say he's going to be top 5, and maybe he might be on the lower end of top 10, but other than that, I don't see really a problem with him. I wouldn't have him as a wide receiver 1. I would say probably about a wide receiver 2 is where I would have him.
Scott?
I honestly agree. I have no idea what the fuck to do with A.J. Brown because the offense is going to be situated around Derrick Henry. And from that, I just don't know how many times they're going to throw. I don't know how many targets A.J. Brown is going to get. And also very dependent on the play of Ryan Tannehill, where last season, bit of an outlier. Less than ideal in Miami for majority of his career. And last year was a breakout year, but I don't know how sustainable that really is.
I agree. Alex brings up a good point. Is he good enough to be your first wide receiver? Well, in my instance, he would have to be. If I'm going to draft A.J. Brown, because I'm in an auction league, I play a real man's league, and I don't have all the money to spend. I can I can spend a lot, but ideally, in my ideal world, I want to spend on one more wide receiver, have Deebo Samuel be my second guy, and then go cheap for the rest. So if I'm going to get A.J. Brown, he's going to be my number 1 guy because I think Deebo Samuel can be the number 2 guy.
It depends on who else is there. I mean, I've seen some of the rosters in your league, and I don't know. A.J. Brown would be really good on your team. I feel like I don't feel like you'd be making a bad buy there with A.J. Brown.
It'll probably be a situation where I have a set price and I won't go a penny more.
And that's fair to do. I mean, you don't want to pay too much for him. And, if someone else overpays for him and God forbid that he does fall off or he doesn't have that good of a year, you lucked out.
Alex, who's your first pick here? Fantasy wildcard.
I've seen this name thrown around a lot, and I'm trying to figure out the hype. I understand the hype, but I'm trying to figure out where it's based on. But DJ Moore for Carolina. I have a lot of issues with DJ Moore. One, he was doing better at the end of the season. I understand that with only Kyle Allen. He's got Teddy Bridgewater now. But you got to think, Christian McCaffrey's still there. You got Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuels, and Seth Roberts also. And I'm not saying DJ Moore is not the undisputed number 1 wide receiver, but those wide receivers are going to get their targets, are going to get their touches. and you still have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. So DJ, I mean, people are really rating him high, and I'm trying to figure out, should I buy into that hype, or is it like, well, I don't really know. I don't think he's going to be, as good as people are proclaiming him to be.
Yeah, I think the thing I would worry about is, can Teddy Bridgewater actually throw the deep pass? Now, Moore can get open underneath, but how many long touchdowns is he going to have? And that's what you can start Deshaun Jackson, and he'll have a great week just because he catches a long touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't know how many he gets of those. And you're really relying on Carolina to be a pretty good offense, and their defense is bad, so they should be throwing. But yeah, I wouldn't go too high on DJ Moore. I think he's a good player, maybe not an elite player. Scott?
I definitely agree. And also, to your point, can Bridgewater throw the deep ball? He's always been a more conservative quarterback, especially when he filled in for Drew Brees in those 5 games. And also, to Alex's point, you have Christian McCaffrey. He went over 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards, so it would not surprise me if he gets the bulk of offensive touches overall. And so, again, with the other wide receivers there, how much of a focus will he be in the offense?
Go ahead, Scott. Who's your pick? First wild card.
Okay, so I've prepared 3 because I have a question. Can we consider Antonio Brown a wild card here?
No. Fuck that guy. I hate that guy.
Hopefully not.
You know what? I don't even want to deal with that guy. We're not even going to talk about that guy.
Hopefully not.
Okay, so that's why I have others prepared. So for the first wild card, I'm going to read you 2 stat lines. First stat line, 4,500 yards, 33 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 99.9 passer rating, and 68.8% completion percentage. So that's stat line number 1. And then number 2, 5,129 yards, 34 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 67% completion percentage, and 96.5 passer rating.
Is this from last year?
One is from a couple years ago. One is from another year. Now, without searching up, tell me. Hold on. Now, wait a second.
It's Dak.
No. Wait a second. Tell me which one you think was an MVP.
Hold on.
I got it. It's the other one. Those are Dak's numbers, aren't they? It was the 4,500. That was Dak, right?
The numbers are lost.
Which one? Which one do you think was an MVP year?
I don't even remember the numbers anymore.
4,500 yards, 33 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 99.9 passer rating.
And that was from this past year?
No, that was from a few seasons ago.
2018, 2017,
2009. I'm making a point.
2009?
Oh, my God. He's old. Okay. He's old. All right.
No. And then, so you have that stat line there from 2009. And then you have one from a couple years ago. 5,100 yards, 34 touchdowns, 16 picks, 96.5 pass rating. Which one do you think was an MVP year?
Probably 2009.
Probably 2009.
Yeah.
Yes, that was an MVP year. But the thing is, I had to tell you that. And so 2009, that was Peyton Manning's MVP year.
Okay.
And the 5,100 yards one, that was Big Ben's last full year. So my wild card is Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, that's fair.
Just because
his arm.
His numbers are comparable to an MVP year. And so you can go on about, well, he led the league in interceptions. That's all fine and dandy. But when you compare him to he had an MVP year. He led the league in passing yards that year. He led the league in passing yards. So if Mahomes doesn't have this fucking out of nowhere season, 50 touchdowns, you can make a case that Ben Roethlisberger would have been the MVP. And I get there's the elbow situation, and I get that, and I get there's no Antonio Brown. But still, we could get a great year, 30-plus touchdowns, 4,500 yards, and up Ben Roethlisberger.
There were a couple of years there where if you had Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown on the exact same fantasy team, you pretty much won 3 years in a row.
Oh, it was bad, man. Jesus.
There were a couple of years where their offense, it was not the Steelers of old. They were just gunning up and down the field.
Killer bees.
And so I do think Ben Roethlisberger is a good pick. I don't know where I would go with him personally, just because I think their defense is a lot better than it was back then. Devin Bush has really made a big impact. they don't have to put the ball in Roethlisberger's hands to win games. They won how many games with Duck Hodges last year? Their defense is a lot better than it was back then. So combine that with the injuries, I don't know. I would lean towards a no, but I could see him having a great year.
Exactly, and that's why he's a wild card. You have no idea what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm on the more skeptical side about Big Ben just because that elbow injury scares me, and especially at his age. If he was younger, he had elbow surgery, and he's coming off of that. I'm like, okay, he's still young. His body might be able to handle it, but since he's like 38 now, it leaves a lot of uncertainty. And even though Duck Hodges did good, I mean, their defense is going to win games for them. So it's just like how much of the offense is actually going to put that fantasy value. But then, like you said, he could just fucking pop off like old Big Ben. And
I'm more surprised that they're saying he's going to be 100% ready to go for week 1 because he had what, Tommy John surgery?
Essentially.
It takes baseball pitchers like 18 months. So
I don't think it was Tommy John, but that's what everyone's been saying. I don't think that's exactly what it was.
I don't know the exact medical, but I know if it's something like that, it takes baseball pitchers like a year and a half minimum. So I don't know what they seem optimistic, but I don't know. But they're probably right, but I don't know the medical here.
He's coming off elbow surgery. That's all I know. That's already scary enough. We can go.
Alex, what's your pick?
Let's see. You know what? I lied to you because I wanted to change mine because I really just want to double down on this. But Keenan Allen, I mean, he is Chargers' best wide receiver. But you got Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert, and I just don't like it. I don't. I mean, I think Justin Herbert's a bust. Tyrod Taylor, he can throw. He runs a lot, though. And then you still have Hunter Henry. I like Austin Eckler this year. I already said Hunter Henry. And then Mike Williams still is there. So, I mean, it's just there's a lot of uncertainty. Is how much are they going to throw? Their defense is really good. Their defense is going to win games for them. I don't like any of the Chargers wide receivers. The only thing I really like from Chargers is Eckler, and I've expressed that many times, but that's it.
Scott, you have a rebuttal for him?
Not much of a rebuttal, more I agree, because with Tyrod Taylor, also, again, similar to a Teddy Bridgewater, he's gonna play very safe. He's gonna try not to turn the ball over. So I don't see him taking a ton of deep shots to a Keenan Allen. I can see more checkdowns and screens to an Austin Eckler.
I am also probably agreeing here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's good. Here's the crazy part. Keenan Allen had 100 receptions last year. Only 3 other guys in the league did that. So isn't it possible that, like, hey, he can get open underneath and Tyrod Taylor doesn't got to throw shots. Allen's a guy that can run the intermediate routes and pick up catches and pick up yards and get into the end zone and have a pretty good year. And it's not like Phillip Rivers was great last year. He found a way to have 100 receptions, and Phillip Rivers was dog shit last year. So couldn't I make the argument that people are so concerned about the quarterback situation that Allen is actually a value?
No, because I'm always right.
Okay.
That's not egotistical at all.
No, not at all. I mean, you do have a point. He's gonna get his touches. I don't trust it. I'm not sold on Keenan Allen. I can't bring myself unless I get him at a much in the later rounds or whatever. I can't trust myself with Keenan Allen. He's not gonna be one of the first wide receivers. Maybe not even the second wide receiver off the board for me. I can't.
I'm with you. I just wanted to throw a counter.
Oh, I got you.
So for my second pick here, and this one seems to be the ultimate wild card. What the hell are we going to do about Leonard Fournette? Leonard Fournette is in a contract here. They turned down his 5th-year option. They try to trade for him, and nobody wants him. The reports are out there that nobody would give Jacksonville a 7th-round pick for Leonard Fournette. There are times that he's looked like a monster, and then there are times he runs into the line of scrimmage and just falls over and just doesn't look motivated. I think motivation is probably the biggest thing with Fournette. I think he's talented. He just doesn't give a fuck. And I think people are afraid to say that, but I think it's the truth. But he's in a contract year. But here's the craziest part about this. I want to ask you guys. I'm going to throw out a stat, and I want you to tell me what you think it is. How many receptions and how many yards did he have as a pass catcher last year?
I'm going under 500 yards.
Oh yeah, I would say less than 300 and maybe 20 receptions just to keep it low.
Leonard Fournette had 100 targets last year as a pass catcher. He had 76 receptions for 522 yards.
Was close.
We think of Leonard Fournette as this big bruising back that just runs straight forward and has no second dimension. They threw him the ball last year, and nobody really understands or really notices. But he's going to add pass-catching value. But what if that changes in 2020? Because they just signed Chris Thompson, who the Redskins have loved forever, and now Jay Gruden's their play caller. And maybe Chris Thompson's the passing down guy, and Leonard Fournette goes back to not having that role. And I've said it a million times, he's in a contract year, but he also had bad touchdown luck last year. He had 1,152 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. His rookie year, he had 9. He has 9 rushing touchdowns in that yardage again. He's a top 10 fantasy back. So, and he's got something to play for. So what happens if Leonard Fournette's really good, but he's in a really bad offense, and they might have the first overall pick, and they might be trailing a lot, and Minshew has to throw the ball 40 times a game. So what the hell do we do with Leonard Fournette?
Stay the fuck away from him.
Man. Because I don't know. Because you do bring up valid points. You know, they're going to be behind a lot. They traded all their defensive pieces away. And then, you know what? That's probably why they were like just going to do the ultimate tank and try to trade Fournette. No one's like, no one wants him. And then so it's like, shit.
Stuck.
I don't know. I think what it comes down to is how many touchdowns he gets. I think that's the only thing. If they get a lot of goal line situations, you have to put the ball in Fournette's hands in hopes that he scores a touchdown. Just how many times he's going to do that. The
good news is I have a crystal ball, and they've already told me how many touchdowns he's going to have.
How many?
Come on, man. How am I supposed to know how many touchdowns he's going to have? That's the point of the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, if he gets a lot of touchdowns, then he'll be fine. If not, well, he sucks.
You know, if Julian Edelman has 300 receptions for 3,000 yards, I'd probably draft him.
Yeah, you know,
it's not fucking
naturally. I don't know. I wouldn't put him higher than a running back 2. That's all I put. That's where I'm at. Running back 2 or lower.
Scott, you have anything on Fournette?
Yeah, I'm staying the hell away from him unless I can take him in like just a random flyer pick. If he lasts into the very late rounds, I'll just take a flyer.
Okay. Who's your second pick here? Last wild card for you.
1, Baker Mayfield. Because we saw promise in the rookie year, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. But he got much worse this year. 1.5 times the amount of interceptions, 21 interceptions, which, if not for Jameis Winston having a historic year, he would have led the league in interceptions. And then also regressed in terms of touchdowns, 22 touchdowns. Completion percentage dropped from 63.8% his rookie year to 59.4%. His pass rating dropped from 93.7 to 78.8. And his yards barely increased by 100 yards. He had 3,827 yards. And one more part, Phillip Rivers had a better year this year. Old washed-up, shot-put throwing Phillip Rivers, who doesn't have it anymore, had a better year than Baker Mayfield this year. So I don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to get the Baker Mayfield of this year who tries to fucking throw 110 miles an hour and overthrows and just wildly inaccurate? Or are we going to get the rookie year Baker Mayfield who's very accurate, good footwork in the pocket, and with all the weapons around him, you'd think he'd be great. But last year just proved that's not always the case.
Alex, do you have a response?
I'm a little bit more sure of Baker Mayfield this year. I was a little bit hesitant due to Freddie Kitchens last year. But like I was saying on the last show, I like Kevin Stefanski. I think he's made a lot of people that are not good look good. And I think with Baker Mayfield, he's going to make him look better this year, and it's hard to be bad. And we were saying this last year, it's hard to be bad with all this talent around him. The only thing I'm actually unsure about is with Baker Mayfield is Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb was, and Trey said that last year too. He said Nick Chubb was great last year. He was, averaging 5 yards per carry. And so, I mean, it's going to be interesting how they're going to balance that out. I mean, if they put the ball in Nick Chubb's hands most of the time, then Baker Mayfield's fantasy value is going to go way down.
So what I heard from you is you acknowledge that Nick Chubb's better than Saquon Barkley.
I didn't.
I think that's what I said.
Well, I think Saquon Barkley's living rent free in your head.
When the hell did fucking Saquon Barkley get involved?
Oh, this has been an ongoing thing. No, I didn't say anything about Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley's on a worse team.
I think that's what I heard, though.
You didn't, though, unfortunately, but it's okay. Like, I understand where you got misconstrued, but I haven't said that yet. But I don't think I will.
Okay. He's about to.
Well, here's the deal. I'll say the same thing I said about Baker Mayfield coming out of the draft. And, of course, my scouting expertise pay off once again. He is a 3rd or 4th round prospect. He is Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, in that sort of mold. He was not a number 1 overall pick. He was not nearly talented enough to be a number 1 pick. But he can have a Kirk Cousins season with all these guys around him. He can throw for 25 touchdowns and do some okay things if they rely on Nick Chubb. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility he's usable in fantasy. Now, in my league, if he starts getting up 30, some $40, $50, forget about it. But I'd spend, $10, $15, $20, $25 on him.
Yeah. To add on to your point, you said like a Case Keenum. Case Keenum got to the conference championship with Kevin Stefanski. So that's definitely a possibility with Baker Mayfield this year.
So that does it for our fantasy wildcards. If you guys disagree, make sure to comment in the comment section. Again, we are brought to you by VendettaSportsMedia.com. Alex Chick, Scott Logush, and myself, Trey Daubert. Couple more segments to go, unless Alex, do you have any other comments about
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Scott, any comments?
Nope, no comments.
Okay. Worst fantasy trade that you have ever made. And this list is not terribly long for me because I was great in the trade department last year. But, Scott, what do you have here?
I have not. So I've played 2 fantasy seasons because I've only been able to get enough people 2 times. And they're all redrafts. So there's not even a good point to trading unless you're trading someone, you're selling someone high and buying someone relatively low. So I really don't have – the only trade I did was probably my best trade. That's the only trade I've done.
Okay. Scott defaults. Alex?
Yes.
Well, I mean, all right. So this is when LaShawn McCoy was good.
With Philadelphia?
Well, I think it was a year after when he was on the Bills.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I was really high on LaShawn McCoy. And it's funny because I drafted Leonard Fournette. And so I was like, you know what? I'll trade Leonard Fournette because everyone in my league at the time was really high on Leonard Fournette, and I drafted him. I was like, okay, I'm going to make a big money move and trade for LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy vanished. Gone. I don't know where the fuck he went. And it drove me nuts. And Leonard Fournette went on, and he had like a top 5, top 10 NFL season, at least for PPR's sake or whatever. And LaShawn McCoy was like 15th, and it just drove me nuts, and I was pissed. And I'm sure there was 2 wide receivers in that deal because I traded a wide receiver and they gave one. I can't remember for the life of me, but I think it's pretty equal because I can't even remember. But that really irritated me.
So Leonard Fournette brings up great memories for you.
Oh, yeah. He's like one of my favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
So is LaShawn McCoy now.
I think mine's going to trump all of yours.
Okay.
And this came when do you remember the time when Amari Cooper was like not playing well with the Raiders? Like he was he was having
I remember?
he was having these games where he would literally go out and have 1 reception for like 6 yards.
Oh, you mean when he was dropping everything? That's what I'm remembering.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I drafted him out of Alabama, and we get to keep people for 3 years. And it was that last year he was just fucking awful, and he did nothing. the whole year. I had him. I traded him away. You would think I did well here. I did not do well here. I traded him for a young receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers who was locked up for 3 more years, and I was all excited. I thought, Amari Cooper's playing like shit. I'm trading for this guy who's locked up for 3 more years, and his name was Martavis Bryant. And Martavis Bryant,
I have great memories of him.
Traded for him. He was okay for a couple games, and then what do you know? He gets suspended, and he's traded to the Raiders, and then I'm paying for him, and he's not even in the fucking league anymore. So you would have thought I did well by trading Amari Cooper, but things got worse.
You took a high risk and kind of a medium reward with that. I just knew.
I think medium is an overstatement.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Martavis Bryant had talent. He was good.
He was good. He just wasn't.
He was
good.
just a fucking idiot.
He wasn't able to stay on the field.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is I knew Amari Cooper was good, but a lot, and this was like, much of the older culture of the Raiders. I'm hoping that's changing now, but no one likes to play for the Raiders. I mean, so like remember when the Raiders trade for Randy Moss? Randy Moss hated being there. Trade him to the Patriots. Fucking pops off. And Amari Cooper hates playing for the Raiders now. Goes to Dallas, pops off. I mean, so it's like a lot of people don't like playing for the Raiders. I don't understand why, but no.
I have an idea, though.
Well, we don't have to go into that today.
No, I have an idea. You're a Raiders fan.
Yes.
We change you to a different team. Maybe your fantasy ability pops off.
No, I don't draft Raider players. I don't. I didn't draft Darren Waller. I didn't draft Josh Jacobs. I had a chance to. My brother did, and he lucked out. But I am not the one that goes. The only time I would go draft a kicker or get a Raiders player was Sebastian Janikowski. That was the only time. Other than that, I didn't give a shit about Raiders players. I stayed away from them.
Daniel Carlson.
He was the first round last year.
What's that?
Daniel Carlson was on my team last year.
Yeah. Good.
Raiders also used a first-round pick on Janikowski.
Hey, you know what? He is the Raiders' leading scorer, okay? I mean, it seemed crazy at the time, but
still crazy.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got a point there, but still, he's the Raiders' leading scorer. I just wanted to say that.
All right, 2 more topics to go here, and this is year 2 MVP. So we have a little bit of history that has started to happen here. Carson Wentz probably would have won the MVP in his second year, but tore his ACL late in the year. Didn't win the award, but otherwise would have. The following year, nobody really saw Patrick Mahomes coming. He wins the MVP. Lamar Jackson wins the MVP in his second year. So, quarterbacks heading into their second year, which guy's your breakout candidate? Important for fantasy. Player that could win the MVP in his second year. What do you got?
I feel like there's only one right answer to this, and that would be Kyler Murray. Simply, it's the only right answer for this question.
I have a different answer, but I want to hear your explanation.
So my explanation, second year in Cliff Kingsbury's scheme, generally time in his scheme, more time you have in it, the more time you have to improve, and the better you know it. And also, you have DeAndre fucking Hopkins. Like, this guy has been uber productive when he's had essentially dog shit throwing him the ball. And then when he gets to Deshaun Watson, he becomes even better. And with Kyler Murray in this very pass-happy scheme, that's the other thing too. It's quarterback-friendly in the sense it's very pass-happy. Kyler Murray's going to have multiple chances to throw the ball and also his running ability. He can be very productive on the ground. And then when you add up all the numbers, oh shit, we've got an MVP.
I love Murray this year, but he's just not my answer. But I think he's going to be great. Alex, do you have a different? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have a different answer, but I do want to say that the MVP is a quarterback award. I mean, most of the time it's going to go to the quarterback, and I don't think it's out of question to say if the Cardinals somehow make the playoffs. I think Kyler Murray has to be a lot of part of that, and I think he's going to get recognition, and he might be the NFL MVP. I don't think he should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. That should have been Josh Jacobs. And then, yes, I'm being a little bit biased about that.
Yeah, I was
but
about
it's
to
okay.
say.
Hey, you know what? He had a great year. Don't get me started on that. But I do think Kyler Murray has a really good chance to be the NFL MVP. I think it's a quarterback award, and I think he's probably the best second-year player to get it.
All right, my answer is a different one. I'm going with Denver's Drew Lock. I'll give them a 15% chance to win the division. That's how good I think this team can be.
15.
I think they're legit chance, not a high chance, but a legit chance to win that division. Denver is going to be a lot better this year. They get Bradley Chubb back. Von Miller still got it. Their defense should be better. Year 2, Vic Fangio, Pat Shurmur. Don't love him, but I think he's an upgraded offensive coordinator. They get Melvin Gordon. They get Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton takes another step forward. You got Noah Fant takes a step forward. Albert O, his former college tight end, comes in. KJ Hamler. I think Denver's going to be very, very, very good, and I think Drew Lock's got it. He's got the arm. He's got the swag. I think he has a monster year.
The only thing I don't like about that is you mentioned all of Denver's defensive pieces, and Denver has such a good defense. And that's the only thing I really don't like about it is because really in terms of valuability, I think Kyler Murray is a lot more valuable to his team. Drew Lock may have the numbers. I think he might even have better numbers than Kyler Murray this year just due to all the talent that he has on his team. But Kyler Murray has, that defense is not very good. Their offense is really good, though. I will say that. And he's got a lot of good people, especially DeAndre Hopkins now. But I can't say Drew Lock just because of how good the team is around him.
Well, when the hell has the MVP actually gone to the most valuable player?
That's true. That's what I hate about that, though.
Because if it's going to the most valuable player to a given team, Russell Wilson definitely deserves an MVP.
I would have voted for Russell Wilson last year.
So would I did too.
I would have.
But I will say, if Denver goes 11-5, he's going to win it.
That's fair. I can see that.
All right, last topic of the day.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It cracks me up every time.
Who the fuck is that guy? Guy you never heard of, guy you'll never draft, but somehow, some way, he will win you your fantasy league. Alex, what do you got?
I try to be a little bit different. I try to get a quarterback this time, and there's going to be a lot of ifs in this one. But the quarterback that I picked was correct me if you guys have heard him because I do have another one set up. But have you guys heard of Ryan Griffin from Tulane?
I believe he is the Bucs quarterback.
Yes, he is. And so that goes into my next point. Tom Brady is 42. That offensive line is not as good. He gets injured somehow, some way, right? And let's just say, God forbid, he's out for the whole season.
Let's say Blaine Gabbert gets hurt too. So
even then, I don't even trust Blaine Gabbert. Let's just say Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, is he even good enough? And so, let's just say, you know what? Fuck it. They're having a losing season. Tom Brady's out. You got Ryan Griffin with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, help me out. OJ Howard, thank you. And so you got all these pieces around, and that's a lot of people. That's the reason why a lot of people like Tom Brady. You throw a younger Ryan Griffin in there, a guy that no one heard of, he might just end up win, a crucial game for you in your fantasy league.
I like it.
Yeah,
good pick.
I'm 2 for 2 right now. 2 for 2.
Scott, what do you have?
See, in mine, it's not going to be as good as Alex's. But this one, I have 2 set up. They're both not great. But the first one is a guy who probably gone lost in some of the chatter with the Green Bay Packers drafting a running back. And the player I'm picking is Jamal Williams.
I've heard of Jamal Williams, but you can run with it.
Yeah,
I'm a nice person.
We let you go with Rashad Perriman.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. But it's okay.
I'm going to go with Jamal Williams simply because with Aaron Jones, he's a physical back. I can see him getting hurt. And there are other running back that they drafted. He's an Aaron Jones type. He's a big guy. He's going to be a bruiser. Jamal Williams was more or less their not necessarily to change the pace back, but last year he had 39 catches for 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. And also, he wasn't a slouch running the ball. He had 107 carries for 460 yards and only 1 rushing touchdown. So I can see late in the year, Aaron Jones, the wear and tear, he goes down. Jamal Williams becomes more of the featured guy. While he might not be the power guy, I can see him being the first down guy and the third down guy.
Little weaker pick for you, Scott, this week.
Oh, I know.
It's a little weak.
Hey, I can't keep finding short white slot receivers. All right.
Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing. You guys tell me if you've ever heard of what team he plays for or if you know who he is. I'm going to go with quarterback Jamar Smith.
God, where have I heard
What
that
team
name?
does he play for?
Fuck. No idea. I can't say it. No, I don't know.
Don't even try Googling it.
Can I look at the team?
I feel like it's a Patriots move.
He is a
Let me
Patriot.
Sign some
He
no-name
is
quarterback.
a New England Patriot, undrafted this year,
I had that
Louisiana
idea.
Tech. I think Jared Stidham sucks. I think he was dog shit at Auburn. If you watched him at Auburn, he wasn't any good. Brian Hoyer. I mean, did
Brian
anyone
Hoyer.
watch Brian Hoyer with the Colts last year?
I did.
He
I
made me
watched him
want to
throw a
throw
mass.
up watching him.
I watched him throw a beautiful pick six to Minka Fitzpatrick.
That guy, there is no
Beautiful.
there's no reason that guy should be in the NFL. He is horrendous. So what happens if an undrafted guy makes this roster and New England can't get any points out of Stidham or Hoyer and they go with the rookie out of Louisiana Tech?
We got a Duck Hodges situation here.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually thought about that, and I looked, and I guess I didn't look very hard because I just went because I was looking up fantasy stuff, and then I was like, oh, let me try to get who the fuck is this guy? I looked at the Patriots quarterbacks, and I only saw Stidham and I only saw Brian Hoyer, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm not rolling with anybody else.
They also do have another guy, Brian Lewerke, who I guess I
Yeah,
could have
that
used
guy.
that name too. But I think some people know who he is because he played at Michigan State. But he's horrible.
Yeah, well, I
Michigan
thought
State
about
literally
that.
couldn't pick up first downs this year.
That's because Michigan State's garbage, and I know that.
All right, any closing thoughts here?
I'll be back with a better who the fuck is that guy next time.
Saquon Barkley is better than Nick Chubb. Go ahead and end the episode right there, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Vote for Chubb 2020. I like it.
Staying out of this.
Okay, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys for watching. We will make sure to 2 more episodes next week. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.